The following broadcast is a production of HCC TV.
Hi, I'm Justin Boyd.
Hi, I'm George Luna.
Frank likes feet.
I do.
And we are
The Watchers in the Basement.
Welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. We are coming to you from the Main Street Studios here in Houston, Texas. And we're here today to talk about The Boys. This is the third episode of The Boys. It's titled Get Some. So let's get right to it because we have a lot to talk about. So George, if you wouldn't mind, please give us the quick synopsis for the episode.
Yeah, so it's the race of the century, A-Train versus Shockwave. They're going for the title of World Fastest Man. Meanwhile, the boys are reunited, and it feels so good.
Yes, it does. Because in this episode, we add another member to the boys. We'll get to that very soon.
Yep.
But let's just start from the top. So the episode opens with Huey, and once again, he's cleaning blood off his face. They just exploded translucent at the end of episode 2. And I gotta say, like, this actor, Jack Quaid, he must have spent the first, month of the show just in a makeup tent, just being caked on with fake blood. Just constantly they're applying it, because every episode, this guy ends up bloody in some way.
Yeah.
Someone else's blood.
Yep.
So,
I'm sure Kit Harington could relate. Battle of the Bastards.
who is he? Oh, Game of Thrones, yeah. Yeah.
Did we
You guys end up applying
You
to
know
this
nothing,
universe.
Justin Boyd.
No, I know who he is. I don't know.
All right. Huey
I'm
is
done with that
cleaning.
guy. Yeah,
Huey's
so-
cleaning blood off himself.
Yeah, so he's cleaning the blood off his face, and Frenchie and Butcher, they're in the restaurant where they killed Translucent. They're cleaning up the restaurant. It's a big mess. You know, when you explode a superhero, it can get kind of messy.
Clearly.
Yeah, so they're cleaning it up, and
Definitely not
Huey.
eating there.
What's that?
Definitely not eating there.
That thing was abandoned, right? Or was it under construction?
It might be on construction.
Well, they were going to make it into a
Oh, gross.
churrasco kind of restaurant.
Ew.
They're going to start off with a translucent
Wow.
meat.
Alrighty.
It's a delicacy.
Some ribs.
This got dark really quick.
Justin's okay just made it so much
I know.
Okay.
Well, this whole series is pretty dark anyway, but I mean, we continue with
Going darker, though.
way darker.
Well, with Butcher and Frenchie, you know, cleaning things up, you see Translucent in pieces, and Huey also has changed out of his the clothes that he was wearing when he killed Translucent.
Right.
And Frenchie is about to burn everything. You know, can't leave any evidence behind, right? Because we don't
Right.
want Homelander finding
Yep.
finding
Anything.
them. Okay?
Right.
So what happens next?
And so Huey, he wants to go home, and Butcher says, no, you're not going by yourself. I'm going to send Frenchie with you. But this part, I'm kind of confused by, because so Frenchie and Huey leave, and Butcher's left, and he's got Translucent's remains, in a box, right?
Yeah.
But then, he throws, 2 grenades, I guess, at the box and walks away and explodes.
No, not at the box.
What did he
In the
throw?
room.
He threw
Just
he
in the room.
threw
Yeah,
it
he
into
threw
the
it in
room
the
where
room.
Translucent is
Okay.
being
Yeah.
held.
But as we learned at the very end of the episode, the box survives.
Yeah, because
Right.
it's zinc.
So Zinc is indestructible?
I guess so. Because
Well-
Homelander can't see through it, and
I know he can't
so
see
they're
through it,
doing-
but to me, it seems like a weird move. Why call more? You're going to explode a whole
He wanted
restaurant?
He wanted to find the
remains?
The remains.
Yeah, but the box was found at the bottom of the ocean.
With the remains.
Ah.
of the
With the
box.
remains.
Okay, so
So that means that Butcher got
He
rid.
was burning the blood. They were flashbangs. They weren't frag grenades. He was torching all the DNA.
Nathan knows a lot about this
Nathan
stuff.
does
That
know
gets
a
me
lot.
a little concerned.
Okay, Walter White. The heck? How do you
Okay.
even know that?
Yeah, that's why we need somebody else.
It's a Breaking Bad move right there.
Okay, I see what
Yeah.
Nathan means. So they were burning their DNA.
So
for it
they're
and
burning
cleaning all
any
their
and all
stuff.
evidence.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, makes sense now.
But the
Thank you,
box, the box survives.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah. Thanks for Nathan. And Nathan actually has something else that he brought up that we'll point out later. But yeah, he's really smart. So anyway, the next scene we see Starlight. She arrives. She's going for a meeting at Stillwell's office. It looks like she's kind of worried because of what happened last episode, where she broke up the rape attempt, but then she got in trouble because
It was recorded.
it was recorded on a cell phone or whatever.
Right.
So she shows up at the meeting. She thinks she's in trouble, but instead, Stiller is there to praise her
Yeah.
because the victim saw the video on YouTube and came forward and said, "Hey, thank you for helping me,"
Yeah.
And so they're basically trying to get some good PR to this. And her PR person, Ashley, who's always quick with the numbers, she's
Yeah.
like, you're polling huge now with men and women, and for various reasons. And
Yep.
this is great for you. And at this moment, they introduce her to two of their marketing guys.
Yeah.
And their names are kind of interesting. They're Seth and Evan, which is interesting because Seth Rogen is one of the producers, and then so is Evan Goldberg. He's one of the other. So I'm sure that's a nod
I
to
did not
them.
catch
Yeah,
that.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, these marketing guys, they pitch her on this new costume they have for her, and it's a skimpier costume
Yeah, she
than
does
what
not
she's
like it at
preferring.
all.
And right away, she's like, "I'm not wearing that."
Yeah.
And they say, "Well, yeah, you are." And if you like, and she says, "Well, I can control my body." And they're like, "Yeah, you can, but
Not in the
Not when you work for.
right when
not
you work for us,
Not
like
in the seven.
you have to wear this, or you can just not wear this and not be in the 7."
But see, I was confused by that because they made her like this. She's from Des Moines, Iowa. This
Yeah.
girl next door type of hero, very G-rated. All of a sudden, they just did a complete 180 within 2 episodes, making her more sexual and more.
Well,
Yeah.
it's more feminist.
That's what they say.
That's what they
say
said.
it's
That's what
more.
they said in the-
They
said
say it's
that-
more
they say that-
empowering.
right, that the costume,
Yeah.
which is a lot skimpier,
Doesn't make
shows
sense.
a lot
Does
more
not
skin.
make sense at all.
I know, but this is what happens when men tell
Because-
women what they should wear.
Because you're essentially
No shade.
you're essentially objectifying her.
Yeah.
By putting her in a
Absolutely.
skimpy outfit. And I don't know, it takes away from who she is as a person. So I
course.
don't know. I thought it was kind of weird.
Also, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, but it goes to show how naive she was coming into the 7, because growing up idolizing the 7 and then having that crush on Deep, and then finding out that he's really just trash, and then finding out that, oh, I can't do all the things that I thought I was going to do because Vought is so driven on numbers and good PR and all that good stuff, and she's in ways kind of like losing herself.
But to her defense, the Vought does a good job of hiding their dirt too. Like I
No,
don't
they
think
do,
I don't
yeah.
think the majority of the public would know that how dirty Homelander is, how sleazy the Deep is,
Yeah.
what they do to like basically make themselves look good by not creating crime, but like showcase the crime and like make sure it's caught on camera. Like
Right.
it's
That's surprising though. Like at least to them be able to hide it so well for them and not for her. And like just there's so many people with phones. Like that was random.
it's a multi-billion-dollar company. They probably pay people off all the time.
Yeah,
Hush-
they
and-
could have paid off that
yeah,
person.
NDAs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not
I have
surprised.
a quick question about Vought. At this point, do we know how long Vought has been in business?
Yeah, in the commercial they said since serving heroes since like 1944 or something like that. And in
wow.
in
I didn't
episode
hear that.
1,
Okay.
that little package they did before Starlight came out on stage. They said
Okay, that's
yeah.
right.
So they've been around for a
So
minute.
they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of positioning themselves as a Disney kind of company or something.
Oh,
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's, I understand where Starlight's coming from with, wanting to stay true to herself and do all the things that she wanted to do. But it's like, I think we all can relate in one fashion or another when you're working for someone else, that sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do in order to keep your job. But then at how much are you willing to lose yourself just to keep that job? And like I said, last episode, there's so many current issues that like go on in this series. It's amazing how quickly the audience can just relate to everything that's going on. I do want to say one more thing, we can move on. The costume designer that revealed Starlight's new costume, she said she had created a Homelander's costume as well. If y'all have ever watched The Incredibles, Edna,
Yeah, it kind of looked like her.
that's who this character in The Boys is based off of. She
Seriously?
has the very dark hair, the glasses, kind of that.
They said that? Or
No,
is
no,
it-
no, no.
or you just
I've read that
throw-
trivia.
okay.
I've read that trivia.
Oh, really?
I just thought it was kind of cute because I like Edna in The Incredibles. No capes. No capes. Moving on.
So the next thing we see is it's A-Train versus Shockwave, the race of the century. It's a commercial on TV, and we're at Huey's house. Huey's there. He walks into his room.
Sports Center too.
Yeah, it's on ESPN.
The
Right,
Ocho.
okay. The Ocho.
It's on Sports Center. So Huey goes into his room, and his room is just like plastered with Seven memorabilia. He's got
Yeah.
posters, and he's got little pop dolls, and a lot of it's A-Train, which I think is kind of ironic considering A-Train killed Robin, his girlfriend. So he sees all this stuff, and he just, basically he's enraged by that. He starts ripping the posters off the wall, and knocking stuff off shelves, and throwing the toys and breaking stuff. his dad comes in and talks with him, and he says, he's worried about him, and he just wants him to stay at home. And Huey's like, nope, I'm leaving for a while. He packs up a bag, grabs a photo of Robin. He's out the door. And so the next thing with the show is a big piece of the show is we meet Mother's Milk, who is a key member of the boys. He's played by Laz Alonso, actor I wasn't that familiar with, but he's been in a couple things. He's been in
Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
Just one, I think.
Oh, it's one? Okay.
Yeah,
Which
because he
one?
was Phoenix in the fourth one.
Okay. And then he was in Jumping the Broom, which is a African American movie. And
Well, he's Afro-Cuban.
yes.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was
I
that
thought that was super
guy.
cool.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Yeah.
I remember him.
Yeah. So he's been around.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a working actor for sure.
And apparently he's a mutual classmate or a classmate of a mutual friend of ours from Howard University. So that's pretty awesome.
Yes, indeed.
So, hi, Donika.
So, Mother's Milk, what I think is interesting about this character, and we learned this later on the show, is like, he's like of the boys, he's the most physically imposing. He's a big kind of like Hulk
Yeah.
guy. But he's also like kind of like the most
Caring.
and conscientious of the group. Like he's kind of the glue to the group,
Yes.
which when you first meet him in this, you don't see that. But
Yeah.
then almost right away when he joins the group, you see that happen. So how we meet this character is Butcher goes to visit him at a correctional facility. MM works at Mother's Milk. It's short for
Who we're
MM.
going to call MM.
MM.
yeah. So he works at a correctional facility, and Butcher and MM have a past. They've obviously done this boys superhero fighting thing before.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, Butcher arrives just like when we met Frenchie in the previous episode. Frenchie was not happy to see Butcher. MM is not happy to see Butcher. No one apparently is ever happy to see this guy. And Butcher basically explains, hey, this time we killed a soup. We finally killed one. And so that kind of piques MM's interest. He doesn't want to be a part of this, but the fact that they killed one of these guys kind of makes him like, okay, I'll listen to what you have to say.
And their dialogue with one another, I mean, we can't repeat probably any of it.
No,
But it's
not a
just
lot of it.
it's just crazy just how they regard one another and
Yeah.
And-
I would like to. That's how I talk. My vernacular is usually a lot of those
this
words.
is true.
Yeah. But MM brings up something that I don't think we knew a whole lot about before this episode. He mentions Becca. And Becca is a reference to Butcher's wife
Yeah.
who is missing at this
Spoiler.
point. Yeah. But MMA basically has one. MM is hard to say for me for some reason. I should just say Mother's Milk or just say milk.
That's so weird.
The milkman. The milk
milkman.
guy.
Man.
Man.
Anyway, so Mother's Milk, he brings up something, or he says like, okay, I'll rejoin the group only if Frenchie's not involved. And Butcher lies, says, Frenchie, I haven't talked to him in years. I think he's not
Who's
a part of this
Frenchie?
at all. Yeah. So Butcher, once again, he lied to Frenchie. He lies to Mother's Milk.
Well, he'll do whatever he
Yeah.
has to do or say
Yeah.
in order to get people to, follow him.
He's motivated by self-interest.
Yeah.
Oh, of
It
course.
doesn't matter who's involved, as long as he gets what he wants.
Right.
I find it hard to believe he has friends. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I don't think he has
Yeah.
friends. I think they're just kind of people that they're
Associates.
Yeah, associates. I think that's more.
That's a good way of putting
I
it.
have a lot of associates. I would not fight alongside any associates of mine, especially against soups.
Yeah.
my life's on the line. Nah, not at all. Not the slightest.
Oh, goodness. So funny.
Okay, so MM's back on the team. We're off and rolling again. So now the next scene is Homelander's in Stillwell's office, and the TV's going, and Senator Calhoun from the last episode, he has suddenly changed his tune about superheroes and military.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why he would change his
Good old
mind.
blindfold trick works every time.
Right.
Frank would know.
It's worked for Frank.
Yep.
No
I knew
comment.
I knew we'd go back there. I mean, what's darker than dark? If you can't see,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Clearly, it didn't work for him. So, I
Right.
mean,
Well, no, because now he's changing his tune about superheroes in the military. And
Yeah.
we're seeing this all played out on a TV interview in Stillwell because she is a new mother. She has her son
Yep.
with her.
Yep. Baby's with her.
And Homelander seems pretty annoyed.
Yeah.
that-
He's jealous.
Yeah.
Seems like.
It's weird. He says,
Yeah.
"Can you make it stop?" He's just
It.
every time he's around the kid, he's
But
just like
it.
Yeah.
mad. Yeah,
You know, doesn't even regard it as a human being, just it.
yeah.
But it makes you wonder the interactions that you see Homelander watching Stillwell with his child. It makes you wonder how did he grow up? Like why is he so socially awkward around humans? Like he's really, I mean, like in like all the times that he's in front of the camera, he's been coached or he's been prepped. But like when it's things that's unscripted or like just regular social things,
Yeah.
when the camera's not around, he looks very uncomfortable. Yeah, I noticed that with the baby and and not getting attention from Stillwell. So
Yeah.
it's something to watch
So
out for.
needy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So needy.
And so once again, he's talking about translucent. He asks her, he's like, "Hey, has anybody heard from him? He could be hurt. This could be a problem for us."
Well, because the chip went dead.
Right. Exactly. There you go. Stillwell basically says, "Don't worry about it. We're on it. We're tracking him. Whatever." And she gives him talking points for the military bill.
Yeah.
Homelander looks through them. He's like, "You know what? I don't need these. I can do my own thing."
Because somehow justifying the fact that he made the choice to change his cape from red to the American flag somehow justifies that he doesn't need any guidance or any.
He doesn't need their notes or their
He's like,
pointers or whatever.
without saying it, he's like, I'm the best.
Yeah.
You can't.
I can understand not needing notes because I never need notes. I'm just top of the dome, just unscripted, just really talented. Just
Justin, what's
Like-
that in front of you?
it's like you turn on a fountain and it like just pours out words and jokes and stuff. Never think about this stuff.
So the
So
thing,
back to the notes.
the thing she's prepping him for, you said that he has to be prepped. What she wants him to talk about is at the
It's the military. So basically, she's giving them
at that
talking
ball
points.
or something.
No, it's just kind of like whenever they're in public, because like
Okay.
the race is the next big event.
Yeah, that's what
so
I was
they're basically,
thinking.
hey, whenever you're in front of a camera, in front of a crowd,
You need to
say
keep
this.
pushing
Okay.
this agenda
Right.
and what have you. But
We
because
we want our people in the military,
Gotcha.
Right.
and here's what you need to say.
So in this case, but because Homelander has expressed, I know what I'm doing. I don't need any points.
Right.
I think he crumbles up
Yeah,
the
he tosses it.
paper,
Gotcha.
tosses it, and Stillwell says to him, "Oh well, Mr. Edgar wrote these
Himself, yeah.
himself." And we don't know who Mr. Edgar is at this point, but he's someone of significance because she references that he's on the 82nd floor.
I think she says that he's the CEO, or something.
Does he? Does she
I
say
think
that at some
think
point?
that's reference,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
yeah.
He's a head boss.
But this is the first time they mention him, I believe, right?
Yeah.
By name, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
But all we know of 82, the 82nd floor rather, is it's the higher ups, and this kind of makes Homelander take a step back. Like, okay, well, I better do as I'm told because I don't want to have any problems with 82.
Right. So now we're back with the boys here, and Butcher brings Mother's Milk to. He's in run surveillance on A-Train's girlfriend, Popclaw, and they found this out that A-Train and Popclaw are together from their interrogation of Translucent before they killed him. And so they're getting into a van. It's like a moving van, and it's funny on the van because everything is like has a sponsor, or has a superhero logo or whatever.
Reference.
Lamplighter is actually on the van, and Lamplighter is a former member of the Seven who retired
Air
before the
quotes,
show started.
Retired.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So they get into a moving truck, and all of a sudden, Frenchie and MM they confront each other because neither one of them were expecting the other one. So
Yeah.
they get in a little bit of a
Argument.
argument. They're fighting with each other, and during that, MM mentions something that I don't think we totally understand, but he blames Frenchie for the death of Mallory's grandchildren, which Mallory was referenced in the previous episodes, but we have not met
Mallory,
that
yeah.
We don't know who she
The
is just
Mallory
yet.
files.
Yeah.
But even then, the CIA director, when Butcher broke into her home, mentioned about Mallory's family or Mallory's grandchildren. So this is, I believe, the second reference about Mallory's grandchildren. So yeah, we don't know who Mallory is at this point.
Yeah.
We know that these men have obviously worked together before because Mallory's grandchildren were
Yeah.
killed, it sounds like.
Yep.
And there's definitely tension, and I guess this is the reason why MM can't
Yeah.
work with Frenchie.
and it sounds like the Soups maybe killed the grandchildren or killed somebody. that they-
Something.
Because of it.
Something. Yeah.
Anyway, so they're Frenchie and Mother's Milk are locked up, and they're fighting each other basically.
I love this next part.
And to break the tension, Mother's Milk gets a phone call. He gets rickrolled basically.
Yes, he does.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
It's never gonna give you up as his ring.
Never gonna let you down.
The Rick Astley classic song.
Great song.
It
It's
is
a good song. It's a really good
Such a
song.
good
It's a good song.
Yeah,
It's a
it
good song.
is.
Never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you, never gonna give you up.
Anyway, his girlfriend or his wife Monique is calling him, and she wants him to pick up some food on the way home.
But he totally changes, like
Yeah.
his tone, he goes from being this, hard ass to this, hey baby, how are you? Oh, I am so sorry. Just very like, dude, you're whooped. Like you are incredibly whooped.
Don't say the first word, but yeah. That phrase, yeah.
Yes, I know. It took me a second to figure out we were.
Yeah. Yep. So the boys they're keeping surveillance on Popclaw. They're watching her. She's walking to her apartment. She runs into the landlord, and he mentions, "Hey, the rent is late." So we're like, okay, so that'll come into play later. Just kind of planting that seed right there.
The rent is late.
Right. So they're talking about they're trying to figure out a way. Okay, how do we get into her apartment? And Huey just pipes up and says, we don't need to sneak into her apartment. Like he uses his background. He was a audio visual,
We're at a
Electronics.
tech store. Yeah.
yeah, installation guy. He's like, let's just let's go in there and say we need to install some software or whatever.
I think he
And
said home installation was his specialty
Right.
or something like that.
So they use that to gain entry. So Huey and Mother's Milk enter Popclaw's apartment.
To lay some cable, apparently. No? Was that too soon? I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
That was good.
That was a good one.
That was good.
That wasn't in my notes.
Oh Lord. So,
That was good.
so yes,
like
Huey
that.
and Mother's Milk approach Popclaw's apartment,
Yeah.
saying they have they're there to install a faster modem, what
Yeah.
have you, and they enter. They see these really large, suggestive photos of Popclaw.
Basically naked photos.
Basically naked photos.
Yeah.
And Huey's able to get on the computer. He does his thing to get the IPv6 address and what have you. But the first thing that he does notice is the screen
Screenshot or photo. The
Background, the wallpaper is.
desktop background of Popclaw and A-Train. And again, that's enraging Huey, but he's got a mission to do. He's got to hack into the apartment to get access to all the webcams and all else that's in there. But Mother's Milk does notice something that's on the TV stand. It's this little red pouch luggage little thing,
Yeah.
which
Looks
is
like it looks like a first aid kit or something.
Yeah.
initially, yeah. It took me a little while to figure out what he was looking at because even though it's red, my eye went to I think the trash can or something like that. So it was really weird. But the red bag is of importance later.
It's a nice apartment.
It is a nice apartment.
For D-lister? Yeah, big time.
I mean, she's a B squatter.
Oh, she B squad.
what they
Okay.
said, yeah.
B squad. I'm sorry.
That's what they refer to her
Yeah, I
as.
mean for.
Oh wait, I was thinking about something.
No.
I thought that was a joke.
No. She's on the like A-Train's on the A team. She's on the
Yeah,
B
it's
team.
a B team. Okay, well, that's pretty good for B team.
I
B
was
teamer.
just
B squatter, yeah.
Yeah.
I need you to stop saying B squatter.
But we're a
what they-
squad
that's,
here.
That's
so
what they
it's
call
like-
them, right?
I thought you were saying squatter.
Yeah, I heard
No,
that
B
too.
squad-er.
No, it's
Squatter.
Well, it works both. It works both ways.
It does.
Moving on.
It does.
Moving on to Queen Maeve.
No, so as Huey and them are leaving her apartment, they run into A-Train.
This is hilarious.
Talk about it.
Good. Just so Huey's walking out with Mother's Milk, then they're going out, and A-Train, they bump into him. They look at each other. He's like, hey, he's like, what? Do I know you? You want an autograph or something?
Right.
And he clearly doesn't remember Huey, even though he clearly just met him when what was it, episode 1?
Yeah, when you apologize.
When he apologized for killing his girlfriend. And that's that must be enraging for Huey. Like,
Oh, yeah.
wow, dude, you really don't remember me?
Right.
And it was just a crazy scene.
But
I
that
can't
probably
believe
saved his
that.
life too, because had he remembered him, he saw him walking out of the apartment of his
Yeah.
girlfriend's apartment. It
It's
probably
kind of
would've
like
went
Huey
down.
wanted him to remember him.
Yeah, that would have been smart.
They wouldn't. but
Kudos to Mother's Milk for getting Huey out of there
Yeah.
because he would have been killed.
He was trying.
He was trying.
He was trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next scene we have Queen Maeve. She's at the Vought
Training facility.
building. She's training. She's fighting these guys. Like it's like a harem of dudes who are like warrior-looking guys, but she's easily just discarding them. When she gets a call from Homelander, and apparently there's a crime going down in New York. I think they're all based in New York, from what I can
That's what it seems
understand.
like.
It seems like that, yeah.
Anyway, there's a shooter. He's on the 31st floor of a building, and what it sounds like to me is this is a team up kind of crime. Like
Yeah.
Homelander is helping Maeve because
Because she's down in points.
she's down in her points. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not as
Shame.
popular, and obviously he's like the Messiah. He's the Superman, so he's gonna try to
Messiah.
bump up her points.
Yeah.
So they have a pretty interesting conversation. So they're talking about translucent, and he's wondering. He's like, "Why does no one care about translucent being gone?" And she says, "Well, you didn't like him anyway." And he's like, "True, but like."
An attack on the 7.
An attack on translucent is an attack on the 7. This is an attack on me. And she's like, "Well, there you go. It's all about you."
Yep.
But as this conversation is happening, they're passing by some officers.
Right.
And Homelander says, "Captain, you guys are the real heroes," which is
Right.
pretty much like one of his catchphrases.
Yeah, it's
I
such a
guess.
cheesy
It's
like
so
moment. Yeah.
cheesy. You know, we're just glad we can help. And then like takes off, you know,
Yeah.
because he can fly. He takes off to
Maeve
the
has to take the
31st
stairs.
floor.
Yeah.
She has to take the elevators.
Yeah,
and
he flies up the 31st floor. She takes the elevator, so he's waiting for her.
But I thought Maeve could fly, cause like in the opening scene of episode 1, she like leaps like 80.
Probably leap.
Oh,
she's
leap.
probably-
She
well-
leap
Can't
far, but
fly.
like can't fly.
Well, we'll find out later
It's
on
like-
too, because she can't fly.
It's like
you
with
know
Wonder
why.
Woman.
oh yeah, you know she can't.
You know
fly.
why.
Can Wonder Woman fly?
Yeah, one can fly.
She can fly.
Okay, 'cause I know she has the invisible airplane.
Yeah.
So she can physically just take
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
So
she can
why does
fly.
she need the invisible airplane if she can fly?
I have no idea.
It's tiring to fly, I'm sure.
It's not tiring to like
Sit
fake
down
sit.
and pretend.
It's like, I mean, it's like the same thing. Like at least when you're flying, you're like I don't know.
I mean, I
like,
could
That's
if I could
funny.
fly, I could tell you the difference, but I don't.
I wondered that because I watched Justice League not too long ago, and like, can Aquaman fly too?
I don't think he can fly.
You could
Because
swim.
there's like a scene where he's like kind of flying. And I'm like, if they all can like do this stuff, like why do we need so many of them? Like,
I guess he can't, cause
like if James Harden was a superhero, that's all you need because like he has such a high usage rate in basketball. He has the ball the whole game, and like he would just solve all the crimes. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, you know who can't fly? Regular people. And Homelander and Maeve are talking about the fact that people like Mr. Edgar and Stillwell, they're just people. They
That is
snap
a
their
good
fingers.
Transition. That is a good transition.
Thank you.
I mean-
Thank you.
that depends on what you're on though. I mean, depending on how company you are, if you can fly or not. So it kind of depends.
What?
Depends on what you're on at the time. If
Oh.
you can fly or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I won't say what, but go ahead.
So, Homelander's questioning why when people higher up in Vought are, when they snap their fingers, why the superheroes jump. He's
Yeah.
questioning, why do we do that?
Right.
And Maeve says because they send our paychecks, like obvious reasons. Again, you know,
Right.
how much are you willing to sell your soul in order to keep a job or a paycheck and that kind of thing, you know?
do superheroes really need money?
Exactly.
Yeah, they
That's what
can
I'm
literally
thinking,
take
too.
it.
They can
Yeah.
literally take it if they wanted to, right? Like
Right, yeah.
Or like the
But they're an
popularity.
example to
but,
people.
But the popularity alone, they're
Yeah,
just
no, that's-
Yeah.
have money thrown at them or just endorsements thrown at them.
Yeah.
Like if I'm Homelander, I can say, you know what, Vought, I don't need you. And I just go to my own brand.
True.
You'd be good.
Yeah.
But
What
without
are they, how are they gonna stop him?
They can't stop him.
contract, I don't know.
Okay.
Contract.
I'm
Nathan
suing-
pointed at me. So
Hey, I'm suing you. Come to court today. Like,
See him in court in
Oh
a
my
suit.
gosh. Well, okay, so back to this whole team up bit because there is a shooter, and without any effort really given, Homelander is able
None
to
at
kill
all.
the shooter. But then there's this weird thing that Homelander shoots Maeve with the gun.
So here's the deal.
They have to make it look
so,
like-
Yeah, they have to cover it up. So Maeve takes out the shooter basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's still alive. She knocks, like, he shoots at her a couple times, and she knocks him down, knocks the gun out of his hand, and
He surrenders.
oh right,
Yeah.
all right, he surrenders. She puts the gun down, and so then Homelander goes over there and like punches into his chest, which I thought he was like gonna pull his heart out, but he
I thought so
didn't.
too.
I thought
Right.
that too.
Yeah.
He just puts his hand in his chest, kills the guy obviously, and then he like wipes off the blood on the guy's body. The guy falls to the ground, and Homelander picks up the gun. He's like, "You know the drill." So he shoots Maeve. He's like, "We got to make it look like he shot us first."
See, I didn't fully understand that,
Yeah.
but I'm glad
Yeah.
we're
That's
here
the cover-up,
discussing this
yeah.
because you guys.
Yeah, but again, it points out like they play by these rules when they don't really have to. Like they have the powers to do whatever they want, but they're still like going, okay, well, we have to make it look like this guy attacked us. I mean, I guess he was gonna attack him. It's kind of a weird crime because the guy's like up just on a random floor. Like I don't know who
Shooting
he's
down at
shooting
people.
at, or like what's.
Well, it seemed like he was shooting down.
he must have
from the
been,
building.
but it's.
Why do people do what they do? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it seems like they didn't like flesh out like the whole shooter. It's like, well,
Well, it's
we
not
shot-
really of great
Right.
importance other than seeing
all.
how they
Yeah.
handle the situation. But then there's also an interesting conversation that happens between Maeve and Homelander that suggested that they once dated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because she
Yeah.
says the things I let you do to me, and he says, "Yeah, and we're not even dating anymore." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that
Yeah.
is interesting, and we'll kind of hear a little bit more about that in episodes to come."
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting that, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
Right. So now the next scene, the boys they're still watching Popclaw's apartment, and I know we're gonna stub our toe on this, but I'll just gonna say it. So A-Train is over, and our guy has a foot fetish, or either he does or Popclaw does. They like them some feet. let's just say it how it is, okay? But
No.
he's they do though.
Yeah, but this one doesn't.
Okay,
This
that's fair.
girl over here does not, and I hate the fact that we have to talk about this. Let's just get past it.
How about you, Frank?
Oh, gross.
I mean,
Is that why you like A-Train?
let's go through this one step at a time, okay? One step at a time.
Good job.
Yeah, I try. I'm here all week.
Thank you.
So it seems like A-Train usually likes the feet thing, but in this case, he's so distracted by the upcoming race with Shockwave that he can't, focus on that.
Yeah.
So, and also A-Train has been told by Stillwell that, hey, if you don't win this race, you're out of the 7 because they don't want a second place B squatter in the 7. I think
No
I said that
pressure.
correctly.
No losers.
Right. He asked Popclaw, hey, like, do you have the compound V, which is a performance enhancing substance that may be the reason why superheroes are superheroes. We don't know that
Yeah.
exactly. She says that, hey, this V stuff is very dangerous. Remember the last time you took it?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I know, but I got it under control. She's like, yeah, but the last time you took this stuff, you ran through a girl.
That's
AKA?
not being
Right.
in control.
Right.
And by the way, that girl was Robin.
Right, and as they're talking about this, Huey's watching it on the computer screen. His face is just like he's like shocked and then mad, and
Yeah.
he does a really good job in this show. Like all of them are very good actors, but I think he emotes kind of perfectly for
No, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
the scenario.
Oh, definitely.
So basically, A-Train's like he needs a drug. He has to have the drug because he's got to win. And like I said, he makes the comment about he doesn't want to be a washed-up B squatter. And then she says like me, because I think apparently she
Yeah.
was in the 7, but she's no longer. That's maybe the
Maybe
kind of
so. Maybe so.
because she's been around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Like, she has her own like movie series,
Yep.
and she has her own I'm sure she has like cosmetic lines or what all kinds of stuff.
No, with that apartment, she doesn't. No. She's a low grade cosmetic line. That's the apartment that she has to show for it.
Right,
Oh,
right.
Oh man.
So anyway, A-Train tells Popclaw that he'll see her after the race, and this upsets her because she was planning to go with him to the race. It was going to be their big coming out party as a couple, and he basically says no, he can't do that because I think he's supposed to seem like he's single because that's what they kind of
A
want.
persona.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a persona where they don't want them to seem like they have somebody in their life because maybe someone won't want to spend money on them if they think they're not attainable or
Yeah.
something like that. So anyway, let's see. So
So
A-Train
A-Train takes the drug.
Yeah, he ends up taking the drug right there, and the boys are watching it. And
Butcher.
Butcher has a great line. He said, the 7 might just be a squad of manky roid heads. So, and I'm not sure if manky is a bad word at like
In British.
another country, but I'm
Australia.
gonna say it. Okay, I don't care.
You gotta say it in an Australian accent.
New Zealand
Or New Zealand, yeah.
So, because of this revelation, Butcher basically wants to get a sample of the Compound V to take it to the CIA director and ultimately expose the superheroes. That way, they're not allowed into the armed forces.
Right.
And they're going to do this hopefully at the race of the century and
Right.
take the Compound V from A-Train, his stash.
I did like a moment in this part where Frenchie goes, Butcher's like, hey, Frenchie, like, what do you think about it? He's like, well, I'll have to test it, and I'll probably need to take some myself. And Huey goes, amazing idea. Like, it's like, clearly he doesn't think it's an amazing idea, but he just, like, his timing was so perfect.
It's very much like you.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes your
like,
sardonic
yeah.
humor is
Yeah.
just spot on.
Yeah. But then Butcher, after that, he says the key line, first, we got to get some.
That's the
Get
name
some.
of the title.
Title of the episode, get some in reference to, they've got to get some Compound V.
Yep.
Okay.
I thought it was feet, but
Oh. It would. Frank,
you
you,
know-
would say that.
Compound Feet sounds like a product you would
It-
buy.
it
Like
does.
Dr. Scholl's has like Compound Feet or
does.
something.
It
like,
would sell too.
It probably would.
Can we
Yeah.
stop talking about feet?
Well,
God. I don't think our audience wants to hear about feet.
I don't have
And
enough.
if you do, no judgment whatsoever. I don't want to hear about this anymore.
there's some judgment.
She's so
There's a little bit of
judgmental.
judgment.
She's so
There's a
judgmental.
lot of
Just so
There's a
you
lot
know,
of judgment.
From
viewers.
Brittany.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're so bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the race of the century time.
Yep. The boys are there. They've arrived in the van, and so Butcher, he's going to the stands. He's gonna keep up with everything from the stands. Frenchie's gonna try to get into the locker room. He wants to try to get into where
A-Train.
A-Train is keeping the
Yeah.
V, and he's gonna do that by going through the ceiling vents.
Mission Impossible style.
The air conditioning vents in the ceiling. And then I really like this next part. So Mother's Milk is giving Huey he gives him a press pass and a camera. He said, "Here's your cover. You're a mild-mannered reporter," which is a reference to Clark Kent, from Superman. May have heard of him. He's
Never
kind
heard
of
of him.
famous. Yeah. But then Mother's Milk and Huey have this good talk, and this is part of what's talking about earlier about how Mother's Milk is like he's like the
It's like the voice of reason.
yeah, he's the
Yeah.
voice of reason. He's like the most caring person in the group. And he's asking Huey, he's like, hey, how'd you get involved in this whole thing? Like, Huey explains to him. He's like, well, hey, what was it like to kill a superhero? And Huey explains, hey, like it was, it felt really good. It felt a rush. Like when I held that detonator in my hand, I felt like I felt powerful or whatever. And Mother's Milk tells him, he's like, yeah, but you gotta understand, like the same rush that you feel when you're holding the detonator is the same feeling that A-Train feels when he shoots up with this Compound V. Like, it feels good at the moment,
It's addicting.
but everything comes with a price.
Yeah.
And Huey basically says, hey, the price, whatever it is, I'll pay it. So
Yeah.
he's, at this point, he's
He's
all
down.
in. He's down to do whatever it takes to bring these superheroes down.
Well, and another thing that Mother's Milk had asked Huey was, how did you meet Butcher, just like a couple days ago? And talk about baptism by fire. I just want to point that out because that is going to come into play in the next couple of episodes, actually in episode 5,
Yeah.
which happens to be my favorite episode, but just remember baptism by fire.
So the next scene is a quick little scene. A-Train's getting a pep talk from his brother. His brother's obviously very involved. His brother's like his trainer, his
Yeah.
like biggest fan, and
Motivator.
yeah. So they're in the locker room, and Frenchie's watching from above, just waiting for the moment to where he can go in the locker room and go through his bag and try to find some of this Compound V. Okay, so now we're going to Starlight and Black Noir. They're at the race, and they're being introduced to the crowd.
She is wearing her new skimpy outfit.
Her new outfit, it's like almost
she
like a
is.
swimsuit.
Frank's
It's
like, yeah, she
It's like a big onesie.
Yeah,
Swimsuit.
it just doesn't seem like it'd be functional for like fighting crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be
As
the
long as you-
greatest.
As long as you look good doing it. I don't
Functional
know.
enough.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, no, I mean it's functional for other things, but
Yeah.
like it's not. I don't know. Doesn't seem very. But
Not
then like
superhero.
the dudes are all in spandex, so that doesn't seem comfortable to me either.
Yeah.
Like
That's not functional.
no,
No.
exactly.
No.
So
while they're being introduced to the crowd,
Yeah.
Maeve and Homelander are, Maeve at first is having an interview and, of course, talking points of the soups in the military.
Right.
And then in comes Homelander, superhero landing.
this superhero landing, which if you've watched Deadpool 1, is it Deadpool 1? Deadpool
One.
1 talks
One,
about
yeah.
superhero
It's
landing.
superhero landing.
Great Deadpool's the best.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's such a good
That's
movie.
the first thing I thought when I saw that scene. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like this would be so great if he was like explaining it. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, they're there to deliver Vought's talking points about the military thing.
Yep.
They're trying to get superheroes in
Yeah.
the military. So now we go to, there's a pre-race meet and greet. A young fan approaches Starlight. The girl is wearing the old Starlight costume.
She looks great, by the way.
Yeah, and she says that she's saving her money. She wants to get the
get the
new
new
one,
one.
and she wants to get a selfie with her favorite superhero. So Starlight's going to oblige that. They're going to take the photo. There's some guys in the crowd that are saying some things about Starlight that she
Just
doesn't like.
catcalling.
Yeah, kind of catcalling her. And
Starlight tells the girl.
she tells the girl,
save
just
her
save
money.
your money. Don't buy the new one. I think that the one you have is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Just keep your money. So now we're back to the field, which I want to point out that the field.
Why would they race there?
It looked like a college football stadium with a track
With a
around
track
it,
around it,
basically, because
yeah.
it's not an NFL stadium. You don't, because it's not filled in completely.
I thought it would have been more dope if they ran around the world.
Yeah, something like
Well,
that.
considering
like,
they go 1,000 miles an hour,
That's what I'm saying,
Like,
like,
why is
imagine
there?
paying that much
Exactly.
to go to the like. Oh man, it's over.
Yeah,
Why are you there? Because it literally takes a second, and you can't see it.
you can't see anything.
Happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a card, so Superman animated series. So Superman raced the Flash,
Yeah.
and they literally raced around the world. It took like 10 minutes, but they did it.
Yeah.
And it was a fun episode to watch. I was like, man, that would have been dope to see that, like racing through the Serengeti or going.
Who won that?
Flash did.
Ah.
Yeah, Flash did by hair.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hair. Wow.
Was it like by the S curl hair, or was it just
Oh.
I got him for days. Just jokes. Just got a bag of jokes back here, just ready to pull them out.
You're running
Yeah,
through them.
No, I've got.
You're running through them.
This is notes. So the next thing we see is Homelander and Maeve, and they're standing atop of the stands at this football stadium, waving down to the crowd, and they're continuing their conversation
Take
from
note,
earlier.
peasants.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming
And-
to see me.
Yeah, they've had a previous relationship, as they talk about, and Homelander gets kind of weird with her. He's like, I've always loved you, and if I ever find out anybody else,
Yeah.
you love anybody else, that'll bother me or whatever. It's very,
Possessive.
That's very.
he's just very weird, like all the time,
The word
Yeah.
is possessive.
possessive, but like his interaction with Stillwell is strange. His interactions with her are strange.
Do I need
like-
to say it again? The word is possessive. Nathan's over here like, yes.
And then like, and you can tell Queen Maeve has a healthy fear of him. Like,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it, like.
Like everyone does.
Yeah, and like Queen Maeve is powerful, so it kind of gives you a barometer of how powerful Homelander really is.
But she can't fly.
No, she cannot fly. She cannot fly. But yeah, it's very creepy. I mean, whether it's with the baby or Stillwell, like Brittany said, or with Queen Maeve, it's just creepy female interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
So the runners are being introduced, and I thought this is kind of cool because they're entering the field like they're boxers, like a
Oh,
championship
yeah.
fight. Like they have their entourage, they have their music. Like I mean, I'm a sports guy, but I haven't, I don't watch a lot of track besides the Olympics. I don't know if track stars do this thing,
I
but
have no clue.
No idea.
No idea.
yeah. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. So since the runners are on the field, Frenchie's making his move.
Yeah.
He's descending from the ceiling to the locker room, trying to find the compound
I
V.
love this.
Right.
I love this so much.
And so at this point, we flash to the other superheroes in the back, and Huey, who's the photog, he's the reporter for the day. He sees Starlight, but instead of calling her Starlight, he says, "Hey Annie," because he's met.
Yeah.
He didn't know that she was Starlight.
Right. And she's actually about to walk into the locker room.
Right.
She actually opens the door.
And you see Frenchie just.
Frenchie's like
hanging.
hanging down.
Yeah.
So
So good job, Huey. For,
Huey got her attention,
yes.
and so he's like, "Hey, let's go talk." And she's like, "Only if you buy me."
overpriced
Yeah, overpriced nachos.
nachos.
So they kind of bond over beer and nachos, and she tells Huey that, hey, the superhero life is not what it's made out to be. It's really not great at all. And she says they just want you to look like a hero. They don't want you to be a hero. They just want you to look like a hero.
Yeah.
And she clearly hates her job, which he knew from the first time he met her on the park bench. They talked about how she hated her job. He just didn't realize her job was being a superhero.
Yeah.
So he tells her the thing that most people would tell the other person is, well, just quit your job.
Which is weird that he just not put two and two together. Like they had like the biggest introduction of her joining the Seven, and you meet her like a couple days later. How do you not put two and two together?
I don't
Sure,
think
he had
was
other things on his mind. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
his
like
girlfriend had just
grieving for
died,
his
so
girlfriend.
he wasn't really paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have been surveilling the Supes for a while now
Well,
after Robin's death. So
but
you would
he's-
thought he would know who's in the 7 by now.
But he's also been fixated on A Train, and then meeting Butcher and all that other stuff. I don't think he's really had time to even consider like
About the
there's a
other
new
ones.
person in the 7.
Okay.
That and he's just still very much in love with his deceased girlfriend. Like, you know, you can't get over something like that really fast.
Well, he did.
No, I'm not. Well, yeah, he did
Well, he
pretty
did.
fast. yeah.
Not yet.
Not quite. I mean, we're getting there. Spoiler alert. But I mean,
But this factuation clearly
Yeah.
there, but which is odd to me. Like your girlfriend gets blown to smithereens, and all of a sudden you're infatuated with another woman already.
Yes.
That was kind of weird.
That
I
is
think.
weird.
Yeah,
That's
it
very
goes
weird.
pretty fast.
well, I mean,
I don't know if it's that yet. I think
don't think so
it's
either.
I think
But you
the
can
show
see
moves
the
fast.
you can see the flirting with
Oh,
the
yeah.
flirting.
It's definitely
Right.
flirting though.
Right.
Well, I mean, we obviously see that because Huey is asking very poorly for her number, and she just says, "Do you want my number?"
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh,
Like
okay,
he's-
that was easy."
Like he's even like indirectly pursuing her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so like he's not that distracted.
Yeah.
He's not.
that's
He's not.
true.
I mean, he's still shooting a shot. So he's not. You know, he's not.
Yeah, but this is the only time, the second time he's seen her, right?
Yeah.
That we know of.
It
So
is.
like,
Right.
yeah, and I think his life's been like a whirlwind. He's been, you
Yeah.
know,
Definitely.
Killing soups.
killing soups and hiding out in restaurants and
Well,
all
who,
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
who is about to shoot their shot up is Popclaw, whom
Exactly.
Mother's Milk is keeping tabs on. I'm on fire with these transitions.
You
y'all.
are. You're
I'm just
pretty good.
saying,
You're
like,
pretty good at
I'm
that.
on fire.
Pretty good at that. Yeah. So yeah, Popclaw, MM is keeping track of her on his phone, and he sees something's about to go down, so he leaves the event, and then right before the gun's about to fire for the race to start, the Butcher, he's in the crowd, and he like, this is like a kind of an epic, kind of classic
Like a
moment
stare
for the
down.
show. Yeah.
Well, an announcement is made first.
What's the announcement?
Well, the announcement over the PA is to turn your eyes to the field.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
okay.
as that's happening,
Right.
go ahead.
As that's happening, Butcher turns around. He's the only person looking back at the crowd. He looks up at Homelander. They have like a little stare down, and Butcher gives this like great like, I know who you
half
are. I'm
smile.
gonna kill you kind of look. On his face is all like kind of bloodied and scarred up a little bit.
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of like in the final battle of Endgame when Scarlet Witch finally approaches Thanos. Like, you took everything from me. I was waiting for like Homelander to say, "Oh no,
Who are you?"
I don't even know who you are."
Exactly.
And then Butcher's gonna say, "Don't worry, you will."
Yeah, I was waiting.
That would've been good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Homelander does have like look like, have I seen you before?
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So anyway, that's a great moment for the show, and that's something you'll see in the ads and stuff. They show that kind of moment. Anyway, so
So
now
back to the real event.
back to the real event. So A Train, he did use the compound V before the race because he needed to win.
Oh,
And-
can we mention what Nathan had pointed out to us about
Oh, yeah.
every time?
There we go, yeah.
Nathan, sorry. Nathan, I'm gonna start calling you A Train. A Train, you know, actually.
Nate Train.
Nate Train.
Hey.
Hey, choo choo. When A Train
Yeah.
starts running,
Yeah.
and again, Nathan pointed this out to us, you hear like a train sound.
And what does
or
it
a
sound
train
like? Frank?
effect.
Did you know? Could you give me some of that?
Exactly like that.
So we actually had to go back and rewatch some of these scenes, but sure enough, yes, every time A Train
When he uses
runs,
his super speed,
Yeah.
you get the train sound.
you get the train sound.
So corny, man.
That's
Good
stupid.
Lord.
That's so
You
stupid.
didn't notice that?
No.
I don't either, but it's there. It's really,
That's so stupid.
it's kind of cool though.
It's kind of cool. It's like a nice, like hidden, you know, gem in there. But
They're very committed to like little things in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Even if it's corny, I like it.
You don't see anything. Oh, there's A Train.
right. So
It's-
A Train,
yeah.
you know, takes the compound V.
Yeah.
He races against Shockwave
He
and
wins. wins
by like a landslide.
We don't even see Shockwave in the freeze frame at the finish
Yeah,
line,
we don't.
so.
And post race, A Train's being interviewed, and he pretty much breaks his promise to Popclaw about announcing, you know, that he's in a relationship, and she, of course she's watching this, and this is what tips her over the edge. And so that red bag that we saw earlier is actually like a junkie bag,
Yep.
if you will.
Yeah.
And so she decides to strap up her arm. She shoots up, you know, whatever
Yeah.
she shoots up, and we're gonna see a different side of Popclaw.
She takes some
Yeah,
compound
we
V.
are.
Where did A Train go get his compound V then? Because we never
They-
really.
No, I think
Did
from
he
her.
go to the apartment?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Cause he asked for some compound V from her.
Yeah.
But we don't know if she gave it to him.
I think
right?
she did.
I'm
I
sure
think
she
so.
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
sure
I
she
think
did.
so.
So you probably hid it somewhere else and then just
Right.
Yeah.
And then she kept some for herself.
Because we do see that Frenchie isn't able to locate the compound V at all.
Yep,
Right.
in the locker room.
In the locker room.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And so the race is over. The boys are leaving, and then MM calls Butcher and says, "Hey, like, I need to hurry up and get here because Podclaw's about to use some of this compound V stuff."
Yeah.
So then we go to her apartment. She's heartbroken after what A-Train said at the news conference. After the race, A-Train basically said, "Hey, like, I'm open for whomever.
single.
Yeah, I'm single, looking to mingle, whatever." That didn't make sense. So
she starts doing these
Yeah.
tremendous amount of squatting.
yeah, she shoots up with the V, and then she's like squatting, and she's like shadow boxing. Her claws are out, like she's on this like
She's
crazy,
like,
Adrenaline rush.
like crazy high.
Roided.
The landlord shows up, rings the doorbell, and he's looking for the rent, as we mentioned earlier.
Bad time,
Oh,
pal.
you gonna
Yeah.
find something else?
Yeah. So she's high on this drug, and she tries to seduce him. Or I mean, she doesn't try. She does seduce him.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, I know a lot of people have superhero fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So then they kind of role play where he's like
Cat burglar.
he's a cat burglar. He's like going through her drawers.
And he's already down to
Yeah.
his undergarments.
Yeah. And
Ooh, that's good.
so anyway, it's a good scene. You need to watch it. Not with kids though, but
Definitely not with
Definitely
yeah.
not.
So they role play.
They role play.
Looking for the.
And
Stop it, George.
I just not caught that.
I know.
yeah. Yeah.
Keep in mind,
So-
to our those who are watching this and or listening to this, we've had a very difficult time trying to figure out how to talk about this next part without getting too graphic.
I think I can probably handle it.
Let's see.
So they engage in a form of sex, and it's hypercharged, as you could say, because she's on this V stuff. So she accidentally kills the guy. She doesn't even realize it.
Squishes
She
his
crushes his head
head.
like a watermelon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's dead.
Yep.
So
Okay,
as
that wasn't so bad.
yeah, and as the boys are kind of like the boys are seeing this because they have the home under surveillance.
No, I'm impressed by how what Justin's
Me too, actually.
Kept it
described that.
pretty
Yeah.
G-rated.
Professional podcast.
Yeah, you're a professional, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, while this is all happening, right before this guy dies, Huey notices. He's like, "Hey, we got to stop. Like, this guy can't breathe. Like, we got to stop this."
Yeah.
And Butcher's like, he's like, "What? Do you think
But-
you're a soup? Like, you think you're gonna like get across the street and run up 10 floors?
15
Yeah.
seconds.
Like, you can't do that." He's like, not to mention now we have her right where we want her.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she's killed this guy.
See,
And
It's amazing how quickly she sobered up, like after
That happened.
After that.
yeah, well, I think just like the fear of like, hey, you've
Well,
killed somebody.
I
It's like
know.
but
the
see,
reality of it.
this is the landlord's fault. Because if he was playing nurse and patient or librarian or student, you wouldn't have got to this point. Cat burglar, you asking for it at that point.
The librarian thing is kind of interesting.
It is.
Because like no, just follow me for a second.
Yes.
So the rent was late.
afraid.
It's almost like you had an overdue book or something.
Exactly.
And that's.
It would
But
make
then,
more
do you have to be
sense.
quiet if you're in the library? I guess you do.
I mean, whispering makes it more interesting.
I
Makes
want
it
to do a
more
whisper
challenging.
podcast, but not about. I mean,
Yeah.
just like us kidding around. Not
Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to
not
stop
role
talking about
playing or
this.
fantasy playing or whatever. But
Can we
fantasy football though, Frank's into that.
can we
Very much so.
can we role play?
Yeah.
Finishing our
No,
podcast.
we're gonna keep it
Okay.
rolling.
All right, cool.
Yeah. We're gonna put one foot in front of the other one and keep going.
Yeah.
Right?
Feet.
So she's just killed this guy by mistake, and so Butcher and Frenchie take advantage of this. They break into her apartment
Yep.
and they're like, they catch her. They say, "Hey, look, we can help you, but you've got to give us some information."
Yep.
So
Yeah.
basically, they're gonna like use her as an informant for getting information from Soups. And in exchange, they're gonna dispose of the body because they're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm gonna stop you real quick. And
Yeah.
Huey was pretty, not I won't say upset, but he was pretty disturbed with the fact that the boys allowed this man to be killed, and Mother's Milk, kind of echoed back that thing to him, like you said, whatever the price, you'll pay her, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I
Yeah.
think Huey's, like Starlight, she's seeing what she's getting into with Vought. Huey's starting to really see what he's getting into with the boys.
he's starting to question. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So then the final scene, we're back at Vought headquarters, and Homelander's there, and the Deep is there. Stillwell comes in for a little meeting. Homelander reveals that, hey, like, Translucent's remains were found at the bottom of the harbor, and the Deep actually says, "Hey, I have a friend who found it." And Homelander pipes up. He's like, "It was a porpoise." Like,
So mean.
but the Deep's like, "No, it's one of my friends that found this, like, these remains. It's the box from the beginning of the episode that has translucent remains." They open it. Stillwell's grossed out because Translucent's body is in there, or parts of it are in there.
But then the box is opened all the way, and
There's a
inside
message.
the lid says,
"Coming for you." And Homelander says, "Whoever did this just declared war on us." So
That they did.
there we go. And the box is made out of zinc, which,
Yeah.
as we know, is the
Homelander
one
can't
thing
see.
Homelander can't see through.
and I actually like this interaction between him and Deep. Like, hey, Deep, what's the one thing I can't see through? Zinc, Homelander.
Yeah.
And what is this box made out of? And then there's this pregnant pause, and then Homelander kind of looks back, and then Deep goes, zinc. So to your point about Deep not being that smart,
Yeah.
we're kind of starting to see that.
Homelander calls him my guppy.
My
And-
guppy.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
So that's the episode. So let's go down the list and see what we thought about it. Frank, what do you think about the episode?
Oh, I thought it was brilliant. I keep seeing things I've never seen before on a TV show. Like some of the deaths have been so creative and so
yeah.
creepy at the same time.
That one
And-
was gross.
Yeah, and the heroes again, they all do a great. The heroes and the villains all do a great job,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I love the show altogether.
Yeah. The progression of the story, again, like I said last episode, what we're discovering going forward, and then also discovering from the past. I mean, it's obviously all going to come into play. I do have a question I want to pose to our followers. Which death was better? Popclaw killing the landlord, or the Mountain killing Oberyn from Game of Thrones?
Very similar. That's a
Very
good one.
similar.
Good question.
Y'all let us know.
I have a feeling if it's men answering this question, they're gonna pick the former.
George, what do you think of this episode?
It was a good episode. I think that gruesome factor just keeps going up
Yep.
and up and up and up, and it's
Definitely.
But it's still getting really good, and the
It's-
story's
yes.
developing. So
Definitely. Justin?
I think the inclusion of Mother's Milk was a huge part of this episode.
Love
I think
him.
that he's such a big part of the team, and I think this is why it's such a great episode, because
Yeah.
it's his first episode.
Yeah.
So, but it's not our first episode, and it won't be our last. We're gonna do some more of these. We'll be back next week with episode 4. But before that, we'd like to hear from you. What do you think about the episode? Think about our show? And Brittany, how can they do that?
If you start following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and use hashtag WatchersBasement, just send us all of your memes, your questions, your comments, any articles. Like Justin mentioned last episode, if you want to write an article about us, hey, cool, just tag us in it. And also, Justin, how can people listen to us if they're not watching us on YouTube?
If you're not watching us on YouTube or HCC TV, we're here in the Houston area. Check your local listings for that. But if you want to hear the podcast, we are on we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on a variety of podcast platforms, and that's thanks to Anchor. Anchor is a great platform we discovered that helps people like us create podcasts and get them out to people like you, so you
Super
can
awesome.
listen to them.
Super awesome.
Whether you're going home from school or work, or at work, or just if you're at work and you're like in a cubicle, make sure you turn it down a little bit, just a little bit, or headphones.
Yeah.
Headphones, yeah.
But as always, please be sure to share this podcast on all of our platforms, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Rate us, review us. We love it if you
Yeah.
give us 5 stars. And definitely, we want to hear from you what you want us to talk about next once we're done with the boys.
You have 3 assignments: subscribe, rate, and review.
There
You
you go.
can knock
Please.
those out like in just a few minutes. We'd appreciate it. We definitely want to hear from you.
Seconds.
So, yeah. So anyway, that's this week's episode. We'll be back next week to talk about the 4th episode of The Boys. I don't have the title in front of me, so I don't know.
Female of the species.
The female of the species, yeah. Because I don't need notes, because I got Brittany here to help me.
Well,
Yeah,
But you know what? We're coming for you.
yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Thank you.